Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Factual Friday. Today, we're going to talk about mental wellness. But first, before we get started, I want you to share this live with someone. This is going to be educational. We're going to learn about HIV and mental illness, and then also we got a lot of information to share about mental wellness that it will. I believe that this is going to help you, and it will help you be able to support someone. So, although our organization here at A Nice Space is about helping women living with HIV, and a part of that is mental wellness. So, this is going to be a really good live. It's almost going to feel like a mini masterclass. I had a Canva presentation. I'm used to saying PowerPoint to share. So we're going to get in that. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you to Factual Fridays. If you follow me over on YouTube, on Facebook, hello, welcome. I want you to share this. Please make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. A Nice Space is a nonprofit organization. We are 501c3 certified, and we provide holistic care services to women living with HIV. And what does that look like? It looks like we give support boxes, we do retreats, we have community events, we have support groups where we meet every month. And then we also give information and educate our community. Soon we'll be extending out on that mission to provide these services because we want to be able to meet people in person. So we'll be working towards a medical center. We are getting certified to be able to do HIV testing so we can do more outreach. We have quite a few things going on with us. So definitely you want to stay connected to us. And something new we're doing, another way to educate our community is through these live streams. So these are going to be very educational. It's going to be stuff you can share out with other people. That's why we were very intentional about doing it on YouTube so you can share the link out. It's sometimes difficult to share Facebook links, but YouTube always has a link. So definitely make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video. And I hope that this education that we're about to give today is helpful for you or somebody that you know. If this is your first time interacting, welcome. If you would like to know more about it, you can go to anicespace.org. It's /donate, but that's our website. You can go see what we do, read some testimonies and things like that. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you what's coming up, but I want to get into what I want to teach you today. This is going to be really good, so make sure you share this out. And as you come on, say hello, tell me where you're from. And while I'm sharing the screen, I may not be able to see everything, but every now and then I'll come back and check to see if we got comments and things like that. So I'm going to do my best. So let's hop into this. So let's click. And if you're watching this on replay, #replay. So good to see you. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's see. Let's go here. Let me make sure you can see it. Okay, y'all can see my screen. So let's get started with this presentation. So today we're talking about mental wellness. So I'm not going to make the assumption, right? So I feel like this is a word we say mental wellness, we say mental health, all this thing. So I'm going to tell you what mental wellness is because let's not assume that everybody knows. So according to the World Health Organization, it's a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her society. So I really want you to pay attention to that definition. It includes that you, first of all, an individual, so I'm an individual, realizes their abilities, right? Can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So before we get deep into mental wellness, I want to talk about mental illness and HIV because it's important to me that you all realize why this is so important, that I share about this, that I talk about this, because it is something that's kind of mentioned. But we need to really be focusing on this. Like we've seen what happened with COVID. We've seen the way of the world. The world is getting, it's just a lot going on, y'all. If I could be honest, there's a lot going on. And our mental wellness is very, very important. But first, I want to talk to you about mental illness and HIV. So as we say with the definition of mental wellness, that means you can cope with normal life. You can cope with the stresses of the world. Well, I won't say the world, but in your life, and things like that. But mental illness and HIV, 1 in 4 people living with HIV have a mental illness. So that's about 25%. The most common are depression and anxiety, and it's generalized anxiety. So sometimes we relate anxiety to something happening or some type of worry or some type of fear. But with like generalized anxiety disorder, it could be normal life, and all of a sudden you may feel like you're in a panic, or you may feel anxious, and there's not an exact reason or trigger that you can identify. Now, sometimes you can identify, and I do teach a lot of this in our support group. I do teach women living with HIV about this. We've done several lives about mental illness. I think we spent a whole year, maybe in 2019, talking about mental illness. So if you are a woman living with HIV and you need support in this area, definitely get connected to our support group, because those lives are still up. And we'll be talking more about mental illness as the year goes out. And then we've done several things with mental illness. And at the end of this, I'll share the link to we do have a mental illness resource guide that we created in 2020. So I'll definitely share the link to that because it might be helpful. So that's a little bit about mental illness and HIV. But I think it's also important that we talk about why, because you can assume, like you can make some assumptions, but let's talk about the real reason why people living with HIV and mental illness. Why are we so susceptible to getting having a mental illness or being overwhelmed mentally? Some of that is stigma. I want to talk about stigma first. I know it's third on my slide, but let's talk about stigma. Stigma is like a prejudice against people living with HIV, an assumption that's made. So stigma can really play really hard on people living with HIV because we're people, we need to be connected. And when people are just unjustly afraid of you, or just assuming things about you, or making assumptions, and they have all these thoughts and things about HIV, and you now you identify with that diagnosis, it could be very, very hard, which could lead to some worry and fear, which could lead to anxiety, right? Or it can lead to depression, stresses of disclosing. It's really hard to disclose. I think that sometimes even I forget because I'm so open, but I don't go down the street. I always like to say this. I don't go down the street saying, oh, I'm living with HIV. Oh, I don't do that. So it's still very stressful to have to disclose. Adjusting to major life changes. This is a life change, and just having to adjust to that at whatever age can be difficult. And then lack of social support. Social support is actually very, very important. One reason why Nice Space focuses on social support, at least we started out that way. We started out very much focused on social and emotional support, because those are precursors to women and men probably, but definitely women not staying connected to care, not getting the resources they need when they don't have social support. So this is why these are some of the reasons. There are many more reasons you can do. You can go look on HIV.gov. You can look on the CDC website. There's so many other reasons, but these are just a few of the reasons, and these are also reasons that I've actually seen myself. So that's some of the why. And then these are some of the symptoms. Now I love how I did this slide. I said I'm not okay when, because then we can always kind of like self-assess yourself. So there are some symptoms that can give you like an inclination, like maybe something is not right, maybe something is going on. And I made this slide in red on purpose because this is when you need to stop. You need to say, wait a minute, something is going on. And note that this is usually a change from how a person normally acts. So if you see this in other people, you may be able to start identifying things. So irritability. I'm not okay when I'm feeling super irritable all the time. There's no cause. All of a sudden I'm irritated. I can't seem to find time for myself. I just can't seem to find any time for myself. I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I'm more emotional than normal. My thinking is not clear. I'm feeling really foggy in my thinking. I start withdrawing from people. Like I don't want to be around friends and family. I'm extremely fearful. I'm extremely worried. Maybe I stop eating, or I start eating more. And I have unexplained pain. And with this unexplained pain, it's like I take medicine and it's still there. I got headaches out of nowhere. My back is hurting. All these are signs that maybe there may be some depression or anxiety, or there may be something going on. So I want you all to be aware of that. Okay. So the next thing is, so we've talked about how it affects people living with HIV, and now I want to move over into the mental wellness part, because I'm all about. I'm very much a prevention strategist. I love to talk prevention, and also treatment as well. So some of these things I'm about to share could qualify as both, but these are some things that you can even implement. These are some ways you can help other people. Just so you know. Some things you do, you may need to go see a doctor, you may need to go see a psychiatrist, you may need to see a therapist, but there are some things that you can do to kind of help you prioritize your mental wellness. Like, this is really, I know I named it mental wellness, so it's really about prioritizing your mental wellness, because you don't have to get to this place, but you may. And if you do, I just want you to know that I'm with you, and I'm gonna talk about what you can do about it. But I want you all to start thinking about this, especially if you are a really busy person, you got a lot going on, you may want to start thinking about this. And you don't necessarily have to have HIV for these things to apply. That's what I love about this education series, because while this education series is to educate you more on HIV and the things that people living with HIV go through, some of these things are good for you as well. So what can I do to help myself or others? What can I do to help myself or others? First thing is a routine. Routines, I know routine, that's almost like a cuss word, y'all. A routine. So you want to establish a routine that includes ways to minimize your stress. Establish a routine. Let me tell you, whenever I wake up late, my day is thrown off. Whenever I don't go to sleep on time, my day is thrown off. A routine is so important. And to think about establishing one that minimizes your stress, you want to think about what's stressful to you. So me being late is very, very stressful. So I'll give you an example tonight. Tonight I was almost late because I decided I was trying to make sure all my tech was working right. I was trying to make sure I could share the screen. And I was like, oh my God, I'm almost late. I'm gonna be late. And so what I did was I just changed the time to 7:15 because it really helped me calm down. And I'm like, okay, that just got you 5 more minutes to get it together. So that gave me 5 more minutes to get it together. Another thing is you want to create healthy eating habits. You are what you eat. Listen, I've been there. You know, I love me some hot wings. I love me some French fries. You know, I didn't get this size by osmosis, so I like to say. But listen, eat healthy eating habits. You are what you eat. So even me, I've started to try to really monitor, especially what I'm eating in the morning. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying be perfect. So maybe you start with your morning, what you're doing for breakfast, what you're doing for lunch, like changing one meal or add to. I know a good strategy is to add. So maybe you're not subtracting, but you're adding. Like you're adding fruit, you're adding vegetables, you're switching up some things in your diet. Healthy eating habits are good. Get moving, exercise. Even if it's just a walk, it doesn't have to be for weight loss. It doesn't have to be for a goal, but get moving, move your body. You release endorphins, which are neurotransmitters. I hope I said that right. You know, if I got it wrong, you know, all you scholars can come correct me. But you release endorphins, and they are hormones that make you feel good when you exercise. That's that feeling you get after exercise. You just feel like, oh my God, I feel so good. That's the feeling you get after exercise. So get moving. Create time to do things that are relaxing outside of work. Sometimes we are always doing something. We always taking care of somebody. We always trying to fix this, trying to do that. We all over the place. You know, and you know, we cater to women here at Anaya Space. So especially as women, we got 50 things going on in our head. And we try and do this, we try and do that. And sometimes we just don't make the time to have fun outside of working, have fun outside of our things that we do on a normal. So you want to work on that. Another thing is sleep is important, y'all. I know. Y'all heard of sleep when you die. No, we're not. We're gonna sleep while we live. Okay. So sleep is very important, right? So make sure try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep at night. I know it's not always possible, but if you can, that's definitely what you want to do. And then start your day on a positive note. What that looks like for me is I try to start my day with at least some type of prayer, even if I don't get to pray as long as I like. At least, you know, acknowledging God, practicing gratitude, making sure that I start on a positive note or listening to a positive video. One thing, when I first started trying to start my day on a positive note, I used to listen to Les Brown or Eric Thomas on YouTube all the time in the morning because they had short videos that could really get you going and really encourage you and things like that. So that's what I used to do in the morning. So that may be a place for you to start. So the first thing is a routine. The next thing is advocate for yourself. I think sometimes we struggle with speaking up for ourselves. So women live with HIV. One thing I teach them in my first 5 things to do after a diagnosis is to advocate for yourself. You got to be honest about your capacity. You got to speak up. Listen, sometimes we speak up for everybody else, but not ourselves. So we got to make sure that we are speaking up, y'all. We have to speak up and advocate for ourselves. Listen, we got to do that. And then we need to take necessary breaks. Listen, we need a break. I think I just kind of said that. Take a break, whether that's like, okay, every day at 12, I'm just going to take a breather, or every day after work, I'm going to take a breather for like 30 minutes. I remember I had read somewhere that sitting in your car outside your house is self-care. Like, I believe that. Like, sometimes I pull up in the car and I just sit in there and I be sitting, I'm like, what am I doing? I've been sitting here for 20 minutes. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. But it really is just that moment to just take a little break and breathe. Listen, this is all about having good mental wellness. And this one is one of my favorites. Listen, if you don't keep up with nothing else from this advocate for yourself slide, let go of what's no longer serving you, y'all. You don't have to, if you don't have to keep it, don't keep it. Let go of what's no longer serving you. And this could look like a variety of things. It could look like procrastination is no longer serving you. It could look like a relationship with someone, and this is not always romantic. It could be a friendship, is no longer serving you. It could be like, you know what? Me stressing myself out to do this certain activity that I don't even like is no longer serving you, and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing is do a self-check-in, and we're gonna kind of dive into that really quickly about a self-check-in, um, because it's quite a bit of information about how to do a self check-in. If you cannot tell, this is usually something that I would take do in front of a group for like an hour and a half or something like that. But we're not gonna do that tonight. We're gonna try to get through this in about 30 minutes. So if you need to go back, if you need to take notes, this replay will be up. You can watch it on YouTube or Facebook. So let's talk about doing a self check-in. So self check-in, this is where you take some time. This could take you 5 minutes, right? To just take a breather and ask yourself some questions like, what's been happening? How's your routine doing? How's your eating? When did you have a break? How's your family? Just really check in. You don't ignore the last line, but how is your family? Do you know how your family is? Just do a real self check in with yourself. And then another thing you could do is seek outside help. So say you do that self check in and you realize like, oh, I need some help. Speak to your primary care doctor if you feel like something is going on. Find you a counselor or therapist to speak to, and then or a trusted circle of friends. Support groups are a good first stop. If you're women living with HIV, we got a support group you can be a part of. So definitely, I'll drop those links in a moment for you to click on it and join, and you'll get a free guide as well. So definitely get you a circle of friends, people that you trust. But definitely you want to seek outside help. That's also another letter of our 5 steps when you get an HIV diagnosis. And I think we're on to some good stuff. These are some things, and if you want to screenshot this, you can go ahead and screenshot if you can. I guess if you're on your phone, you can screenshot it, or you can pause the video when you watch the replay and write some of these down. So some things, I'm going to say a few things. We talked about sleeping for 7 hours. We talked about therapy. Therapy is on here twice. Also, coaching can be helpful, especially if you have goals to get to. Coaching could be helpful. Get lost in a book. Like, y'all, I got books, so many books around me right now. I love reading. Support groups, getting massages, doing health competitions, a new healthy meal a week. And what I mean by health competition, I'm not talking about like you running a 10K or you trying to do those adventure things where everybody is trying to get like to a certain goal. I'm not talking about like that. When I say health competition, I mean just say for the next 30 days, you and your friends gonna work out 5 days a week, holding you accountable. That could be fun for you, and that could be a fun way for you to work out. Do deep breathing techniques. Sometimes you need to take a moment, y'all, and just say, take a deep breath. This could be all, this is like your wellness arsenal. So walking, all these kind of things, and just think about the things that you love to do and try to incorporate it at least once a month. That's my suggestion. And these are just some resources for you. So we got the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We got the Wellbeing Trust. We got the World Health Organization. And then the Suicide Hotline. If you are struggling, you can go to suicide prevention on lifeline.org and you can get help. And they do have a chat number there. And I'm actually going to drop that for you all. Let me stop sharing. And let me go back. Yeah, I'm going to drop that for you all. So I hope that that was helpful about mental wellness. And if you need support, definitely you want to reach out to us. I'm going to drop the number for you all. It's 1-800. This number you can text or call. Matter of fact, I'm going to do y'all one better. How about this? How about this? We're going to do you better. I'm gonna drop the link here. If you need support, click this link, and you'll get the number, and you can also text and all that if you need help, right? So I hope if you learned something, definitely put it in the chat. Let me know one thing that you learned, one thing that you're going to take away. What's something you're going to put in your wellness arsenal? One thing I'm going to add to mine is massages. I don't do everything on that list. So one thing I'm going to add to mine is massages. So definitely, I hope that this was helpful to you, because we believe here at a nice space that we believe here at a nice space that mental wellness is just so important. It's just so important. So definitely, I hope that this was helpful. If you missed it, please go back to the replay. We'll be here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we want you to come back and watch us and learn some information about HIV. We'll have a new topic. I have not put out the topics for April, but you'll start seeing them post on YouTube, post on Instagram, not Instagram, YouTube, and you'll see them post on Facebook around what we're going to be talking about. And if you missed any of our previous broadcasts, please go back and watch them. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, y'all. We got like 8 subscribers. We would love to get to about 50 by the end of April. So definitely make sure you are subscribing, so we can build up our YouTube channel, just so more people can see the information, and it's easily shared. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's easy to share when you put it on YouTube. That's a tip for any of my entrepreneurs out there. It's easier to share on YouTube. So that's why we want to really focus on YouTube, but we will still stream to Facebook because we have a Facebook following, and we don't want to leave out our Facebook family because that's where we started. So definitely want to do that. So I hope this was helpful, y'all. We have some exciting things coming up. We have a gala coming up. I will be dropping information about that really soon. It's going to be a fundraiser, so I cannot wait to do that. Also, if you would like to support the work that we do, you can go to nicespace.org/donate and give a one-time donation, or you can become a monthly donor, and then also you can sign up for our email list. So that's what we got. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see you all next Friday at 7 p.m.